I think that a lot of us are sort of afraid of our own success. Not in the sense that we're afraid to, have good things, but we're afraid to apply ourselves fully to our situations. And in saying that, I realize that it's a little easier to said than done. Because when it comes to applying ourselves, we first have to realize how much we attach ourselves to situations and how much we vest our value and our care in stuff that is not us. I think it's very important to be present and intentional. That's sort of what I hold true, and I'm realizing that it's sort of hard to be present and intentional when you're sort of putting yourself in things that you are not. And it's like I said, if you're constantly living your life in reference, how can you ever be the subject? And if you don't apply yourself to your life, then how can you truly get, out of it what you hope to? No one else can live out your own potential. No one else can be you essentially. You take up your own space and you have to be the one to use it. And I think a lot of people just don't grasp that, or, it's maybe a difficult thing to apply. But what I've realized is the easiest thing to do when it comes to the application is just to do your best. In every situation, try to bring the best version of yourself to your best ability to that situation. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of what happens, whether or not you succeed, fail, you come out, on top or on bottom. As long as you did your best, you always have something to say to yourself. You always have that, well, I tried my best. Because once you give your best, then there's no should have, could have. You did what you could. I feel like either way, you shouldn't dwell in the should have or could have, because, life consists of only things you've done, only things that you have done. But if you actually apply yourself and actually do your best, I feel like it gives you a little bit more security in yourself. I feel like half of what security is keeping your promises to yourself, you know, genuinely taking the time to take care of yourself and treat yourself like a friend. Because I realize when we don't do that, when we sort of put ourselves on the back burner, that's when we have the most negative implications to our actions. And I kind of got Do Your Best from the book called The Four Agreements. And if y'all haven't tried to look at that, I would definitely recommend it. But it's the fourth agreement. Always do your best. Because why not? It's what allows everything else to sort of fall into place when it comes to our life. Because, if you're trying to be intentional with your words, trying to be intentional with the way you care about yourself, with the way you're this, with the way you're that, then you sort of have to actually apply it. It's one thing to get the information. It's another thing to digest it, engrave it into your character, your subconscious. But to act upon it is sort of the highest form of embodiment that you can. The true essence of why you learn certain things and do them and, consume. So you can actually apply. And I think that's what's important. And self-care is one of those things that I feel like sort of got me on top of my game when it came to doing my best. Because you realize once you truly take the time to take care of yourself and then truly sit down with yourself and make those promises like, oh, I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get on top of this so I can feel better. Make the external match my internal beauty in a way. At least that's how I like to think about it. And, one thing that used to get to me, and I talked about it in some of my earlier videos, was my skin. And as you can see, at least from my opinion, it's gotten so much better. It's truly gotten so much better. I still have a couple dark spots, but they're going away. And a while ago, I looked into Tiege Hanley, which it's a skincare company for men. And at first I was, a little skeptic. I didn't necessarily know whether or not I wanted to truly use their products, but they sent me over a first level box right here. And I actually took the time to actually use it for a good month to see what it would do and if I actually wanted to, talk about it on here. So I'm gonna just give y'all a little rundown. So what they gave me was a wash, a little scrub for my face for the PM, AM. They gave me some moisturizers and whatnot, some stuff for my eyes even. And as men, I feel like we don't necessarily stay on top of that when it comes to our self-care and understanding that that's something we can actually do. But once I started actually applying myself to that, once I started actually doing that, I feel like that's when I started to see changes. Maybe not necessarily in my internal confidence, but my external expression. how I express myself, because I wasn't so worried about what's on my face. And I think no one should truly be worried about what's on their face or on the character. 'Cause truly, what represents you is what's inside. But it doesn't hurt to help the external at all. So because they're sponsoring this video today, I'm so fortunate. Thank you. They're offering you all amazing deal. You just have to click the link in the description. You're gonna get 40% off your first box, and they're gonna throw in a free gift. And it's this exfoliating brush. And I ain't gonna lie, that's probably my most frequently used item. Cause I used to just wash my face with my hands. To be honest, I don't know if y'all gonna call me like dirty or nothing like that, but that's what I used. And I'm not gonna lie, it changes the game. It makes you so you're not necessarily worried about the cleanliness. You just have to make sure you wash the brush, keep it clean, and then your face is fine. And it's valued at $20, so they're giving it to you guys for free if you click the link. So I don't know. I would use it if I wanted to, and I don't know. Skincare is something I feel like is very important when it comes to taking care of yourself, and when it comes to your expression. Because I feel like our face is one of the things that we don't necessarily hide from the world. It's something that we sort of bring outward, and there's a certain confidence that you not necessarily need to have, but should have in order to be comfortable in the world. You know, when it comes to our comfort and our discomfort, of course these are all mental things. Of course it can be somewhat determined and sort of, I don't know, altered by the perspective that we have on ourselves. But the way I see it, self-care in a real sense is both physical and mental. You have to make sure you like what you're doing and you like the person that's doing it. And that's why I dropped a video yesterday, not yesterday, a couple days ago, titled, It's Not the Path That Needs Affirmation, It's Itself, because that's the truth. If you constantly live your life worried about what's happening, worried about if I'm doing the right thing, if this is the right way to do it, and you're not actually applying yourself, you're not actually doing your best, then since you're the person that you don't feel good about, even if you like what you're doing, it's not going to feel good. And I had to kind of learn that the hard way, because, I was doing YouTube for quite a while, before it started to actually pop off, which I'm so grateful for. But it's because I wasn't necessarily at peace with myself when it came to it. I was comfortable with the expression because, I love that part of myself. But you have to learn how to sort of bring it all together. Let the circle be unbroken in many ways, because if you don't love all of you, then you can't present all of you. If you can't present all of you, then people can't see all of you. And then what they come to love, what they come to understand isn't necessarily what you think yourself to be. And in that way, you'll never feel loved. Well, not never. Let me not say never. But you won't necessarily feel loved to the degree that, I think you can. There's always greater understanding and there's more depth to the love that you can have for yourself and other people. So I feel like it's important to, always put your best foot forward and sort of open your heart to the world. And while sometimes it feels like it's harmful to be vulnerable, it's harmful to sort of put yourself out there, I'm realizing that the more unapologetically you are yourself, the easier life is. Simply put. Like, I'm realizing that, no one can really say anything about you. No one can really, alter the way you think about yourself as if you have a thought about yourself. If you hold on to something about yourself. And that's something the Four Agreements teaches as well. It's the agreements we place on ourselves, both with our words and in our thoughts. You have to be careful and mindful of how you think about yourself, because that's ultimately how it is. No one can hurt you unless you give them permission, in a sense. Like, if someone calls you ugly and you think you're the best looking person ever, it's not going to attack you. It's not going to hurt you because you genuinely think that you're a certain way. It's about having a solid foundation and base. So when you're met with anything, it can just pass right through you and not stick. I feel like things stick to us because of our insecurity. And I feel like it's something that everybody has. And it's not necessarily always an insecurity thing, because sometimes people just be hating to hate. Some people want to spread that, but, in my experience, it's easier to just attack it with love, in a sense. Not love in the situation, not like if someone says something mean, I'm going to say something nicer, but in the sense that, you say something mean, I'm going to just let that brush over my shoulder, because at the end of the day, what did that do? Like, did they harm me? Did they do something to me? No. They said a couple words. And it's about looking at things the way they are, not taking anything personally, because it doesn't need to be personal unless it comes from you. Your attachments are defined by you, not necessarily other situations. So you have to be mindful and careful where you're investing your energy and attention, because that's going to be where your connections are. You know, and doing your best isn't just about the application of self, but the affirmation of self. You have to be proud of yourself and chill for yourself, even for your small victories. Because, if we constantly live in reference to other people, it's one thing, but constantly living life reference to yourself is another. We have to sort of treat each day like a new life. Like some days you might have this kind of up, some days you might not. And then your payday, you're gonna feel better than ever. But a couple of days before, a couple of days after, you might not feel the same as the payday. But that's because you're looking at it from that perspective. It's because we're living life in reference to our instantiations of positivity. Our grand ones at least. But everything is a grand instantiation of positivity. It's just about the perspective you wish to take on it, the gratitude you wish to imbue inside that idea. So I think it's important to just try your best, do what you can, and then truly try to grasp and understand yourself and your situations to a degree that you feel is befitting of yourself. So yeah, just ultimately take care of yourself. Like, self-care is not something to be shy about. It's you shouldn't be shy about your own self-love. Taking care of yourself is one of the best things you can do, and in life, it makes everything better. If someone sees you and you're someone who actually genuinely takes care of yourself, and you actually feel like you take care of yourself, then there's a certain, I don't know, assuredness, a validation of self that you give to yourself. When you truly take the time to care. Because caring isn't something that's something to be shrugged off. It's a human thing, but it's a good thing that we do. If we are to be attached to anything, why not make it yourself? Why not have love for yourself before you try to spread love elsewhere? Because you can only love someone as deeply as you love yourself. So make sure you're trying to do your best. Truly applying yourself to life, because it'll truly give what you put in, and it might not always look the way you want. It might not always be the way you sort of envision it, but you can receive it in any way possible. You just have to be intentional with the way you put it out there. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of y'all. Not gonna lie, especially if you made it this far in this video. I really hope you guys are taking care of yourself. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. You just have to stay on top of your mental and try to live life in a perspective of positivity. You can't always live life in your negative bouts, because those aren't you. You're the one who defines you. You're the one who writes you, and you're the one who gets to tell your story. So thank you. Take care, and